Hello everyone, so today I just want to share Hebrews 11, and it's the important scriptures about walking in faith, about the importance of faith, and this walk that we are called to by the grace of God. So ultimately, it's impossible to please God without faith. So we'll see from these verses that faith is an action verb. Faith towards God results in following the call in your life, following Jesus. So we receive Jesus by faith and we follow Jesus by faith. And we do the will of God by faith. Now, the verses below are an example of faith in action. And this faith walk continues as we follow Jesus. So I want to start. Now, faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance in what we do not see. That is what the ancients were commended for. So I'll just say that again so we know what faith is. Now, faith is confidence in what we hope for and assurance about what we do not see. So ultimately, we don't see the full manifestation of what God's doing, but by faith, we follow. And this is what the ancients, with these verses I'm going to share with you, this is what they were commended for. So by faith, we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that what is seen was not made out of what was visible. By faith, Abel brought God a better offering than Cain did. Now, by faith, he was commended as righteous when he spoke well of his offering. And by faith, Abel still speaks, even though he is dead. By faith, Enoch was taken from life so that he did not experience death. He could not be found because God had taken him away. For before he was taken, he was commended as one who pleased God. And without faith, it's impossible to please God because anyone who comes to him must believe that he exists and that he rewards those that earnestly seek him. By faith, Noah was warned about things not yet seen. In holy fear, built an ark to save his family. By his faith, he condemned the world and became heir of the righteous, that is, keeping with faith. Now, by faith, Abraham, when called to go to a place he would later receive as his inheritance, obeyed and went, even though he did not know where he was going. And by faith, he made his home in the promised land like a stranger in a foreign country. He lived in tents, as did Isaac and Jacob, who were heirs with him in the same promise. For he was looking forward to a city with foundations, whose architect and builder is God. And by faith, even Sarah, who was past childbearing age, was enabled to bear a child because she considered him faithful who had made the promise. And so from this one man, as he was good as dead, came descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and as countless as the sands on the seashore. Now all these people were still living by faith when they died. They did not receive the things promised. They only saw them and welcomed them from a distance, admitting that they were foreigners and strangers on the earth. Now, people who say such things show that they are looking for a country of their own. If they had been thinking of the country they had left, they would have had opportunity to return. But instead, they were longing for a better country, a heavenly one. Therefore, God is not ashamed to be called their God, for he has prepared a city for them. Now, by faith, Abraham, when God tested him, offered Isaac as a sacrifice. He who had embraced the promises was about to sacrifice his one and only son, even though God had said to him, "It is actually through Isaac that your offspring will be reckoned." Abraham reasoned that God could even raise the dead, and so in a manner of speaking, he did receive Isaac back from the death. And by faith, Isaac blessed Jacob and Esau in regard to their future. By faith, Jacob, when he was dying, blessed each of Joseph's sons and worshipped as he leaned on the top of his staff. By faith, Joseph, when his end was near, spoke about the exodus of the Israelites from Egypt and gave instructions concerning the burial of his bones. And by faith, Moses' parents hid him for 3 months after he was born because they saw that he was no ordinary child, that they were not afraid of the king's edict. By faith, Moses, when he was grown up, refused to be known as the son of Pharaoh's daughter. He chose to be mistreated with the people of God rather than enjoying the fleeting pleasures of sin. He regarded disgrace for the sake of Christ as of greater value than the treasures of Egypt because he was looking ahead to his reward. And by faith, he left Egypt, not fearing the king's anger. He persevered because he saw him who is invisible. By faith, he kept the Passover and the application of the blood so that the destroyer of the firstborn would not touch the firstborn of Israel. And by faith, the people passed through the Red Sea as on the dry land. But when the Egyptians tried to do so, they were drowned. By faith, the walls of Jericho fell after the army had marched around it for 7 days. Now, by faith, the prostitute Rahab, because she welcomed the spies, was not killed with those who were disobedient. And what more shall I say? I do not have time to tell about Gideon, Barak, Samson, and Jephthah, about David and Samuel and the prophets, who through faith conquered kingdoms, administered justice, and gained what was promised, who shut the mouths of lions, quenched the fury of flames, and escaped the edge of the sword, whose weakness was turned into strength, and who became powerful in battle and routed foreign armies. Women received back their dead, raised to life again. There were others who were tortured, refusing to be released so that they might gain even a better resurrection. Some faced jeers and flogging and even chains and imprisonment. They were put to death by stoning. They were sawed in two. They were killed with the sword. They went about in sheepskins and goatskins, destitute, persecuted, and mistreated. The world was not worthy of them. They wandered in the desert and mountains, living in caves and in holes and in the ground. These were all commended for their faith. Yet none of them received what had been promised, since God had planned something better for us, so that only together with us would they be made perfect. So if we continue into chapter 12, it talks about a great cloud of witnesses. So those that have walked by faith, and these are the generations before, the Abrahams, the Moses, those are that great crowd of witnesses that are looking upon us today. And let us press forward in faith and finish the race and the work that God has put before us. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that easily entangles us, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and the perfecter of faith. For the joy set before him, he endured the cross, scorning not shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Consider him who endured such opposition from sinners, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. Now, overall, the devil tries to get you to doubt and to question your walk of faith. So it's important that we need to stand secure, ask for God to encourage you in your faith, and we need to bind any negative thoughts that fix our eyes or take our eyes away from Jesus, the author and the finisher of our faith. So I just want to encourage you, read Hebrews 11. This is all about people that have walked by faith in previous generations. We walk by faith and we walk by the leading of the Holy Spirit. And everything we do, the miracles of God manifest by faith. We take authority of the darkness in our life by faith. We're healed by faith. We are saved by faith, right? We're saved by faith. So just want to encourage you, get into the Word, read these scriptures, because God has laid out a roadmap for us by His Word. God bless you.